Hello. Welcome back to some. Oh wait, where did Zim's crop go? Hold on, I'll fix this. Sorry, I just need to make some adjustments behind the scenes to get this working properly. Oh, it looked like Schwartz's stream is frozen. Huh, that's strange. Sorry, I apologize. I know I'm not talking a lot. I'm just trying to get everything sorted technically behind the scenes before we can start the race. My apologies. Okay, Schwartz's stream is back. That's at least good. I can confirm that at the very latest, we will get started at the 15-minute mark at 8:15 EST. Then we'll just have to go with whatever we have then. But until then, I do want to at least try and get this looking a little more presentable. My apologies. Apologies, we are still looking into the speed gaming stuff. We may not have the perfect stream coming up for you in 3 minutes, but we're gonna have to start anyways. Apologies in advance. Oh, it does appear that Schwartz Gandhi is unreadied. Apparently something has happened to their OBS, which might be why their stream is freezing for a little bit longer than usual here. We'll see. 0.1 kilobits per second. Let's go, Schwartz Gandhi says in the chat. So I would qualify that as something happening to OBS, yes. I don't know. Sorry, it seems like we've summoned the seven plagues or something here today. I don't know why everything is going wrong at once. During the pre-setup, everything looked really good. Zim's crop was even right. But now it's just not working. Okay, our speed gaming volunteer says that Zim's crop will update eventually on its own, and that it's just lag. There's some lag time between the stream and the actual settings being applied. I don't know why that is, but we'll live with it. Schwartz is still dealing with some problems, so it's going to be a little bit longer, I'm afraid. Oh, Schwartz Gandhi. Okay, it should be good now, TM. Quote, I just got throttled really hard for like 7 minutes. End quote. Okay, so I think we have a race now. Let's get going. Let's go. Okay, now let's see. There's not any runners agreements for this race. We're just playing on the new patcher, and we are obviously we have the audio tracker for this race. I believe this is the item loss skip preset, so it'll definitely be pretty interesting to see how this plays out. Sestrion says, "Yeah, cropping still looks weird." I would agree with you there, but the speed gaming guy says we just have to live with it. So and that it'll fix itself at some point in the future eventually. I'm not sure how long that's supposed to take, but we can live with it. We can still see the game. Come on, we can kind of see a little bit more than the game on the game screen, but we can live with that. We can live with that. One and go. Zim appears to be a bit out of sync, but we'll fix that in a second. Okay, let me just get them synced up real quick. You're going to see Schwartz stream freeze for about 16 seconds. We just have to let Zim's play catch up here. This is not lag. This is intentional. This is just going to get us synced up. And that should do it, yeah. There you go. Boom. Okay, a chat moderator says, "Sorry about the crop problems. Not sure how to force it into gear. Hopefully it'll fix itself." I agree. I'm hoping for the best here. But if not, we have a watchable stream here. We have both of our runners heading into Hive Chamber B, getting an energy tank. That's going to be a very helpful item moving forward. The first one is always the best to have. You can absolutely die in Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. It doesn't happen very often in Prime, I feel like, but in Echoes it's definitely a lot more plausible. We do start at the very beginning of the game in landing site, though, so it's not... there's not that much here that can kill us. It's not going to be until we start going into some later areas. We do have a lot of items to start. That's part of what item loss skip is all about. We have our Morph Ball bombs, our Boost Ball, our Space Jump boots. I believe we also have some Power Bombs as well. No, we don't start with Power Bombs. I thought you started with Power Bombs if you're doing item loss skip. I guess that might be a balance thing. I could have sworn that you have Power Bombs before item loss. And that's an SDK for our second item. We also do start with 5 missiles. That's another notable thing. And that looked like a big item in Temple Assembly site, so we're going to probably go grab that. Zim acquires the screw attack. Zim is just slightly ahead by like a second or two. And because we do start with Space Jump, that screw attack is going to immediately have a lot of utility. Oh, that's Light Beam. Very nice. A beam-related upgrade in Ing Reliquary. Interesting. That probably isn't anything important, but we'll see. Zim struggling just a little bit to screw attack in that space. Schwartz manages to pull slightly ahead. We see a red temple key. That's going to be our key for Aegon. That's not what we like to see. We're not in Guardian Slayer anymore. We don't want to see those. It is always a bit of a worrying sign when you find those red temple keys so early, especially when it's for Aegon. You know, if it's for Aegon, you can take that or leave it. You don't necessarily have to draw a lot of conclusions just because that's in sync. And Sank has a lot of other requirements gating you from doing stuff, but Aegon especially, very early, very accessible. We start with a lot of the items that we would really need. We have the bombs already, which is one of the big items that you need to get to Worms and to actually complete the boss fight. So that does have at least a little bit cause for concern. And we do get a Violet translator from under the save station. That's going to help us a lot. That's going to give us our temple hints, our temple grounds hints, which is really, really nice. Schwartz choosing to take the warp to start here. Zim, meanwhile, is going to be attempting Dark Alpha Splinter. We have the light beam, so that's going to make this a little bit faster. You can see that Zim has learned a bit. I remember the last time I was commentating them, they were two-shotting the Dark Splinters, which is not optimal. Because the light beam, when you shoot a darker creature with the light beam, you can kind of see it burn visually. That's not just a visual thing. That is actually, it is having damage over time effect. It is dealing damage continuously after that initial hit. And that afterburn damage, as we would call it, actually is enough to finish off the Dark Splinters. So you really want to shoot each one once and then move on to the next one. And that's what you saw Zim doing there. That was a very good Alpha Splinter fight. Maybe not optimal, but we would need power bombs to do much better than that. Amber Translator is in Ventation Vista, according to Schwartz Gandhi's screen. That's a very good hint. That tells us that we can't scan any of our Aegon hints just yet. Okay, Zimbabwe is going to go into main energy controller, where you get an item and a hint here. The item is a missile expansion, absolutely nothing. And our hint? Quadraxis is guarding a missile expansion. That's very good news. Now, we still might need to do Quadraxis at some point, but we do know that Quadraxis himself doesn't have anything. If we do Quadraxis, it's going to be for main energy controller item. Not the one that we just got, but there's actually two items in that room. That item that you saw there represents the Violet Translator. The other check would be our light suit check. Did anybody happen to catch what was in Mining Plaza by any chance? Because I was looking at Zim's stream. I didn't see if we checked that yet or not. Another side effect of that Amber Translator being so late, maybe not like terribly late, but pretty late, is that we're not going to be able to get Sand Cash here for quite some time. Another SDK, another freebie in Portal Access A. That's going to be very helpful for us. We're immediately going to go into activating the portal here. Because we have Screw Attack, we can actually do a bit of a skip here. Let's see if Schwartz goes for it. Yep, we're doing it. Is that the lineup? Not quite. We don't manage to hit the block, but we can just do the backup here. There we go. Those blocks are vulnerable to Screw Attack, so you can just Screw Attack into it, and then we'll count as you breaking the block. Also, because we're playing on the earliest version of the game, on an early version of the game, there's a bit of an oversight in how this puzzle works. If you break the last block in the puzzle, it will assume that you've broken the other two before and will allow you to immediately finish the puzzle. That ended up getting patched on later releases, like if you played on the Wii re-release. the trilogy, that won't work. But it does work for us now. Zim gets the bad news about Amber. And is a little bit behind Schwartz, but has also done and seen more. Okay, Boletta in chat says, on Schwartz's side, it looked like an ETM on Mining Plaza. That would be some very good news. Oh, Zim checks it. Yeah, that looks like an ETM to me. We already have both of our ball items, so that's not a spider ball hiding up there. And it also looked much too big to be one of those anyways. We're going to get a check on Broom Closet now. There's Seekers. That's big news. That's going to make it a little bit easier to get to Meditation Vista, which is probably on our list of priorities. Wait, where was Cannonball? Was that in Mining Station A or something? Dark Portal Chamber. Okay. Yeah, I know the room is called Crossway. I know what you mean. And that was, of course, the cheese for Jump Guardian there that we just saw. Jump Guardian is actually just sitting there, chilling, invisible at the top of the room, pretty much all the time. It doesn't become visible until that cutscene starts and it jumps down, but you can actually just attack it before then. Because we start with Spider Ball, we are going to get this item immediately. That's going to be our Emerald, which is very, very nice. Because we were already hinted at an item being in Torbus, now it's all the more incentive to actually go there once we get the opportunity. We actually have Seekers, so we're not that far off. We would like to see Super Missile. That would make our lives a little easier, maybe a gravity boost. Schwartz Gandhi is scanning the Lightbringer, probably thinking about routing decisions right now, not really sure where to go or what to do, because we still don't have a Dark Beam, remember. That's a pretty key item. Zimbabwe, meanwhile, is doing more of the light Aegon checks, is attacking the Bomb Guardian. Viciously killed. Okay, that looked like a pretty good fight. I didn't see too much of it, but it didn't look like there were many mistakes. That wasn't a 2-cycle, though, which is what you want to see, ideally. Obviously, we don't have power bombs, so we can't do the quick kill, but a 2-cycle is still possible. Schwarzgani is returning to Light Aegon. Did anyone catch what the Aegon energy controller hint was? I didn't see it. I had to look away. What I do know now is that Zim is thinking about maybe going in the canyon route, going ventilation shaft. We won't be able to check canyon right now because even though we have screw attack, we don't have any power bombs, so we can't get that item. But we will be able to look at ventilation shaft though. That looks like a big item. Yeah, that looks like a visor. Is that dark visor? That's echo visor. We found the echo visor. That's very good. But I don't know what that really does for us at this point. We're still so early in the game. The echo visor doesn't really factor in until you're pretty far into the game. I don't know what that signals us to do at this point. I think it's just, for now, it's just going to be another item on the tracker, and it's not really going to have a super big impact until a bit later in our game. I'm not even sure what we would check with that right now. We don't even have a Dark Beam or Annihilator to go to Sky Temple ground to do some of the Echo Visor checks there. We don't even have that. Zim is going to go Dark Aegon now, which is the correct play. That's going to result in us getting our Seeker missiles, which were probably the biggest item in Aegon that we found so far. I mean, there was the Sky Temple key, obviously. We do need that, but that isn't progression. That's not the same thing. Schwartz, meanwhile, is going to Torvis, and immediately, in Underground Tunnel, we get a Torvis key. That does not bode well. We're going to get a lot of hints here. Dark Aegon is found in Aegon Wasted Temple Grounds. Those could be very accessible, which is quite worrying. And we're immediately beelining it to Meditation Vista. We do not manage to hit either commando with the Phazon canisters, which is very unfortunate. Those canisters that we blew up activate like the red explosive barrels in Half-Life. If someone is standing near them, they take a boatload of damage, and unfortunately we didn't hit either of the pirate commandos with it, which is we really were looking to do because they don't take a lot of damage from our current kit. Screw attack is decently effective, but also kind of hard to use. Schwartz doesn't quite get the right angle for the screw attack there. There we go, that'll be it. And now we're immediately going to Dark Torvis. Or we were thinking about it, at least. Schwartz kind of changes their mind. And now we're returning to Aegon. We just wanted to dip in and get that amber. Zim, meanwhile, acquires the emerald for himself. Zim is on the way to Broom Closet, about to get those Seekers. It does feel like Schwartz has a bit of an advantage here, but not a huge one. Schwartz still doesn't have that Echo Visor. It is worth noting. I don't think that's very important for us right now, but that's going to take a while to get to. I do think the routing is going to end up being a little bit cleaner. Get another hint here. Hive Temple keys, we don't care. Those are not going to be important. I didn't see what the portal chamber hint was, which I'm a little sad about. Zim is going to be doing the kill on jump guarding here, the easy kill, the cheese. Forgets to use light beam for a bit there. We see the charge missile strat there. That said, we don't have that much light beam ammo, so maybe it wasn't so much forgetting as conserving resources. We have a lot more missiles than we have light ammo at the moment. The portal chamber hint was for a suit. Oh, and I didn't see the mining station A hint either. Ooh, but Sandcash, that's our first power bomb of the game. That's absolutely massive. That is huge. That does so much for us. That does so much for us. That's probably the most important item we found in Aegon, honestly. I'm going to be real with you. That's more important than the Seekers. That's going to let Schwartz do a really quick Bomb Guardian fight. We saw Zim do like a 3 or 4 cycle. This is going to be immediate win. We obviously have to wait for the phase transition. This is completely on rails. It doesn't matter what you do before Bomb Guardian turns into Dark Bomb Guardian. Nothing has an impact on that whatsoever. It's just completely scripted. We will get to see Aegon Energy Controller, though. There's a hit here that we haven't really been able to see yet, so that's gonna be even more information for the viewing audience at home. The item was just a missile expansion, and our hint. This is the real prize. The Dark Visor, exactly 3 rooms away from Torvis Key 3. I think we already found both of those items. Schwartz is checking now which Torvis Key we have. No, we had Torvis Key 2, not Torvis Key 3. Interesting. Zim, meanwhile, is about to head to Torvis. We're about to get that Torvis Key 2 and that Amber translator from Meditation Vista. Schwartz skips the Echo Visor. Did not grab Echo Visor. Why is that? Did did you forget about the item in ventilation chat? We have bombs. Yeah, Torvis Key 2 was an underground tunnel. We saw that earlier from Schwartz's perspective. Come on, don't. Oh, he just doesn't. Schwartz does not care. No Echo Visor today. We don't need one of those. We don't need one of those. Schwartz just completely ignores the item. We don't want it. Don't want it. And I don't know if that's a good idea. We do get the power bomb from the crate, so that's going to refill our ammo. Meanwhile, Zim acquires the Amber Translator. Is almost certainly going to head straight back to Aegon, just like Schwartz did. Okay, we have some items to check in the Dark World. We have Coaling Chamber and we have Hazing Cliff. We can actually do both of those right now because Spider Ball is going to be one of our starting items. Coaling Chamber should be totally accessible. That's going to be a red key. That can't be one of our Aegon keys. It's worth saying. I didn't see where our Inghive keys was. That might be one of them, but it also might be one of our Torvis keys. It didn't look like anything important was on Hazencliff. Schwartz doesn't seem to think there was. Also not going to bother with the red key. Two of our Torvis keys are already pretty well accounted for, so there's only one Torvis key that could even possibly be. Boletta. It did say Torvis key 3 was 3 rooms away from Dark Visor, not Torvis key 2. That's why I said that 2 of our Torvis keys are accounted for, because that hint is our second one. Schwartz should remember ventilation shaft this time around. What we're still looking for is that dark beam, though. We still haven't seen our dark beam. Nope, no echo visor this time. Does he think it's like a missile expansion or something? Amorbus is dead. Excellent news. That's what the hint in Mining Station A was. That's very good news. We don't have to think about our Aegon keys at all. Okay, be careful, Schwartz. Be careful. You don't have the dark beam. Do not walk into that room. Ah, you almost did it. Or was he teasing us? I think he. I think Schwartz was teasing me. I think he was trying to rile me up. Trying to rile me up. It works. It works. I get a little nervous when the runners are walking into that room there without their dark beam. Yeah, we have boost ball here. We don't need to do the standable on the turret now. We can just boost up the half pipe. Now we have to scan this terminal, and then we have to get in the bomb slot in that order. We don't manage the roll in. That's going to cost us like half a second. But, you know, it's these little things. There are a lot of little things that Schwartz is doing better than Zim, so I wouldn't really worry too much about stuff like that. It's another Dark Aegon key that we do not need. Unfortunate. That means that our remaining red key, has to be in Temple Ground, since I believe both of the red keys for Aegon have been in Aegon. I might be wrong there. I might be misremembering. Schwartz is going to warp the start here, which is a play I do agree with. Zim is going to be right on his heels. It is going to be a close race, because remember, Zim is up on that Echo Visor and isn't down on anything. Hasn't checked quite as much as Schwartz, but is in the right place. The stuff that Schwartz checked and sank ended up being absolutely nothing. Takes the safety save here, which I always agree with, just in case. We're going to scan the key bearer hint, possibly. I assume there was nothing on DMT, and that there was a pivot save. Meanwhile, Zim saved after the warp to start, so Zim is committed to Temple Grounds right now. We can't go back to Aegon through that through the reset like Schwartz is. Yeah, it was dark ammo on a Dark Missile Trooper, which is not really a very valuable item, but Schwartz is going to be missing out on some of these items here. And Zim is going to be checking. We're going to get Hall of Honor Dead. Ooh, is that a big item? That looks like an item. That's our supers? That's our supers in Hall of Honor Dead. Oh, this is a huge item. Schwartz could be kicking. Oh wait, no, my bad. I thought Schwartz had taken the save in Aegon. Never mind. We're good. We're good. Schwartz is not going to miss these at all. But we do still have a race. Oh boy. Manages to roll under the super missiles. That's a little bit odd. Remember, Zim, don't screw attacking that hole. We got to go out the way we came in. That's a really nice find. Zuzara is going to be a little bit longer, probably. Since we can't reset here like Schwartz did. Now that we've got those super missiles, resetting would obviously clear that, and we'd have to go get them again, which is never going to be faster. Instead, it's not taking us too long to get where we want to go. That is a super door, but Schwartz has the super missiles. Gonna be able to blow that right open. Get a nice violent hit here. And this is probably where Schwartz is going to route in those great temple checks that we skipped earlier. Oh, no, not interested. Schwartz is skipping a lot of items. I mean, first that Echo Visor, for some reason, we just didn't want that. Another violet hint. Dark Beam is one room away from Oasis access. Is that Dark Oasis? Is that... Oh, dear me. Oh, boy, that's not good news. Is there another room that's one room away from Oasis access? I forget where exactly that is. Please tell me it's not Dark Oasis. Oh, Doomed Entry, thank goodness. But then how do we get to Doomed Entry? Oh, with the super missiles! The supers put that into logic, right? Because now we can go through... Oh, there's Dark Suit and Windchamber Gateway. And then another power bomb for Zim. Get a nice power bomb drop there off of the crate. Very nice. There's the Super Zim. And there's our super missile hint. Bit late there. Bit late there. We're going to see a check on the item in... It looks like a missile. A missile and fortress transport access, so we're probably not coming back for that. Schwartz is going to have power bombs for this fight, so it's going to go a little bit faster for him, but Zim is going to catch up because he doesn't have to do it at all. So now they're pretty much neck and neck. Mind you, Zim also doesn't have to go out to main energy controller, so there's that. I think it is a hot dog for Echo. I'm sorry to say. Schwartz just passed by that item so many times. Like 4 times at least. Where is Zim going to go from here? We are going back to Aegon. It's almost certainly going to be a Labs play, a Dark Labs play. We do take a save here, so that's something that we can pivot back to if need be, but it's also nice to have a little bit of reassurance in case we die. That's something that happens sometimes. Sometimes you die, or sometimes your game crashes. That's not as common, but it does happen a lot, let's face it. This game does crash quite often when you play it as fast as these guys do. So you always want to have a save. Okay, we're going in through the front. That's what I was talking about earlier. You saw when Zim blew up those phazon canisters, the pirates just instantly died. That's what Schwartz was trying to do earlier during the commando fight. but didn't quite manage. That's the result that we wanted to see. But those commandos aren't ignoring you like those pirates do, so it's not as easy. All right, and that is pirate fight complete. We are now free to get the item in Central Mining Station. We are not, however, going to be able to see the key bearer hint until we reload the room. Now, Schwartz here is making the correct play, which is to go in through the Dark World, because we can't get to Doomed Entry with our current items. We would need a beam to access that portal in Command Center, and we do not have one. But if we go through the portal, the actual portal room, then we can use super missiles to go through Battlefield and get to the Dark Labs. I think Zim is hot dogging it and will realize the mistake a little bit late. That said, we do get some items here that we won't be able to get from Doomed Entry. We will get the Command Center item. We could potentially do a little bit more labs if we really feel like it, but we won't be able to go to the Dark World. And we already know the Dark Beam is in the Dark World. Zim, I believe, should have received that hint. Let's see, is this a hot dog or is this a play? Just an energy tank in Warrior's Walk. And there's our Dark Beam. There's our Dark Beam in Doomed Entry. I think that puts Schwartz at a pretty definitive advantage here. Zim is not heading in the right direction. Unless we absolutely spoon an Annihilator, we're not going to get that Dark Beam anytime soon. I guess you could have one on, like, bioenergy or storage C, but I don't think that's very likely. Now, we'll also need to see if that Dark Beam gets us anything big. If not, which I think is very unlikely, of course, but, you know, it might be possible that delaying this doesn't cause that many problems if Zim finds important items here. I'm not so sure, though. I think this is going to be a massive problem. I guess a red key in bioenergy. Is this a Torvus key? No, it's our Dark Aegon key 2. Okay. Not going to help us, unfortunately. Neither is this E-Tank. We're going to see some new items on this route from Schwartz, who has the Dark Beam. This one is an energy tank. We don't need that. That's not super important. Zim is taking a save here. Dark Aegon Key 1 acquired. That's going to be all 3 keys for Zim. Not that we're going to be using them. Zimbabwe needs to lay the power bomb at the perfect moment, and there we go. Struggled with that for a minute, but that wasn't too long. I think we need to reload the room to activate that spider track. It's going to check this item. Zim knows not to be tempted. So Zim isn't even going to pretend to get that item. Dark Oasis is a missile-related item. So Zim knows if Zim got that hint about the Dark Beam, and I'm not sure that he did. That might have been actually the hint in Path of Ice, which he didn't grab. That would be really unfortunate. Is that where we got the Dark Beam hint? If so, that would be very unfortunate for Zim. Now that we have that Dark Beam, we're seeing an immediate hints play from Schwartz after we cleared out labs. This is definitely the right move. We have everything we need. We have the supers and our Seeker missiles. We also get to check this item. If that was a good item, we have the Dark Visor and the Seekers to access that. But it was just light ammo, so we're going to pass that up for now. Hazing Cliff was just a missile expansion. Now we get our hints. We've already found 3 Sky Temple keys across our 2 players, but now let's see where the others are. Dark Torvus Arena. Okay, that could be Boost Guardian. Oh, it is Boost Guardian, because we have both of the Dark Torvus Arena items. Central Mining Station, which is the one that Zim is up on. Under Temple. Okay, so that could be Powerbomb Guardian. Reactor Core and Sink. Hydro Dynamo Station. Oh, jeez. Alpha Block 2. No, wait. Alpha Block is Hydro Dynamo Storage, right? Station is the item in the actual boss room? I don't remember. Sink Energy Controller. Okay, that one isn't too bad, and that's all of it. These aren't great keys, honestly. Also, we see Zim is delving a little further into Sink. I don't like this move. Especially since we don't have Cobalt. If we don't find our Dark Beam, we're not going to get any hints about where it might be. We're not getting any intel. We do get a key bearer hint. A beam-related upgrade. So that's going to be useless. Yeah, this play is really not going to get any results for Zim. We are going back to Aegon, though, so we could see Doomed Entry soon. A friendly joke hint. Okay, yeah, we are going that direction on Zim's end. We are going to be getting that Dark Beam pretty soon. Wait, Schwartz doesn't have the Dark Visor. I'm wrong. I'm silly. I thought we had Dark Visor this whole time. Zim now gets the Suit and Temple Ground. That was, of course, referring to the Dark Suit in Wind Chamber Gateway. So that's not really going to be a very helpful hint for Zim. Dark burst. Very nice. Shouldn't be long now for Zim. That's our first STK of the hunt. And Zim, meanwhile, acquires that Dark Beam. What are we going to do now? What happens next? We don't get the quick kill on Guardian, and we're out of power bombs. That means that we have to play out the rest of this fight. That's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Really not what you want to see. Is struggling to get any damage in here. I think even that attack missed, actually. Oh, hello, doggy. My dog got up from her nap. This is important, and the entire audience needs to know about it. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Zim is still doing some Dark Aegon checks. I'm trying to think about what items we're missing at this point. Would we need gravity boost to get our keys? I don't think we would, you know. I'm not 100% on that, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. Schwartz is up to 4 keys now. Zim save warps, and now we're going to get our hints. Very good, Zim. That's what we want to see. We want to see our hints. Schwartz is going to be doing a little skip here. Doesn't quite get it the first time. We're going for a bit of a 3BSJ. We want to get a triple bomb jump and then space jump out of our third bomb. And that's going to be a little bit tricky here. Schwartz is trying to sort of position differently. Okay, we're going to adjust things a little. This is going to give a little time for Zim to catch up. I don't know how long we're going to be here. I don't think it's going to be that long. Gets up to kill the lightning guy. Under Temple Access has a major upgrade. I didn't see that hint earlier. What could that be? That could be our Dark Visor. It could be a grapple beam, a gravity boost. A cobalt, maybe, or an annihilator. I don't think our echo ended up being required for anything, so Schwartz is getting bailed out a little bit there. His Zim goes the wrong way for a second there. That's understandable. I get lost too sometimes. But it shouldn't take us too long. I guess it could also be light suit. We don't have light suit yet. Wait, did Zim actually save at that save station, or are we just going to have to walk out? Okay, we're going to scan them all and then read them in our actual logbook. Under Temple. Okay, I checked. Hydrodynamo Station is not Alpha Block. That's just the item in front of the Seeker missile door. Zim is looking for reactor core. I forgot what room that is. Don't worry, it's not. We aren't going anywhere near Spider Guardian. It's right there. Don't worry, it's an easy room, I promise. Schwartz is already descending into lower Torvis, about to get another 2 keys here. We do manage to get air underwater. And that's our STK from Hydrodynamo Station. We obviously have to raise the forks before we can access the lower area. get a little ammo refill there. That's quite nice. Always love to see it. Zim did miss the dark beam hint. It's going to be right here. Watch. So sad about that. I would be. I know I would be. Okay, what's happening? Zim is behind right now because Zim didn't know where the dark beam was. That hint that Zim scanned right there, that Zimbabwe scanned in Path of Eyes, told us pretty much exactly where dark beam was, and he didn't get that until just now, long after he finished the search for dark beam. Schwartz, meanwhile, routed it so that he got that hint much earlier, which put him ahead, which is why he's all the way at Power Bomb Guardian. There's a 50-50 chance that this is going to be one of our SDKs. It could be the other item in this room. We've already got our hints at this point. We're just tracking down the rest of our SDKs. Let's see, besides this, we're also missing one in Reactor Core, Central Mining Station, and I forget what the last one was. I guess that's the perils of not writing it down. Is that going to be our SDK, or were we just wasting our time? And that is our SDK. Very good news for Schwartz. We also had a major hinted in here. We don't know what it is, but we're about to find out. That's going to be our Annihilator. Very nice. Very nice. That's going to let us fill up on ammo here. If you use a charged Annihilator shot, you get all of the ammo you could ever want. Very helpful. Very, very helpful. We don't quite manage to get a full refill on our dark ammo in particular, but we've got enough to last us for a while. I just remembered our last SDK is going to be in Sync Energy Controller. That's the last one. So we've got Central Mining Station, Sync Energy Controller, and Reactor Core in Sync. Zim actually misses one super missile on the Aero Pirates. That's a little unfortunate. That does happen sometimes. Also doesn't quite manage to hit the skiff, which only slightly slows us down. It's not too important. Right now we see Schwartz going back to Aegon just to get Central Mining Station very quickly. That will leave our last two artifacts in sync. We haven't actually opened the front gate yet on Schwartz's end. Both of our runners have been bouncing around a lot, so there are some things that they haven't done. And this is going to be one of them. That's why we still haven't gotten the item. We are going to have to do the pirate fight. But Schwartz is still going to be ahead because Zim isn't focusing on keys. Zim really needs to be just bouncing straight to this key, straight to that key. And he's really kind of not. It's kind of understandable. Maybe Zim is not comfortable doing these items without gravity boost in lower Torvis and just looking for that gravity boost. That's one possibility. But if he can do that, then he's wasting his time so badly right now. If he's able to do that. Because even if it takes a few tries to get air underwater for Hydro Dynamo Station, even if it takes a few tries, it's still so much faster than just searching for this item that could be anywhere. It's our last SDK in Aegon, now we have to go to Sync on Schwartz's end. Schwartz is heading straight to the elevator. Alright. We're going to go past Sand Canyon into Ventilation Shaft and then take the elevator straight to Sync. I'm not sure why Schwartz didn't just take the orb cannon. I think that might have actually been a faster way to cross this room. Is there anybody in the chat who's done like a time comparison on that? I'm not sure. Oh, right, we have Cannonball. We don't want to lose that, right. I forgot we were still holding on to that. So for those at home, Cannonball basically makes it so that it's almost like we're in a cannon all the time. While you're being launched from a cannon, you're essentially invulnerable for a very brief period, and most enemies that come into contact with you instantly die. Normally, you only see this happen to like war wasps and stuff, but Cannonball, as it happens, the way it works in game is that the game actually gives you an item called Cannonball, and it then takes it away once you hit the plate at the end of your cannon launch. But if you just have the Cannonball item and you never hit one of those like back plates at the end of a kinetic orb cannon, then you get to just keep it forever. You become immune to all damage, at least while you're morphed, and can insta-kill a lot of enemies, including Chico, one of the main area bosses. Which is pretty handy. Zim gets 2 keys here in a Dark Torvis arena. And the Cannonball is especially also useful on the Emperor Ring boss fight for stage 2. It means that the Inglets that normally like swarm around and knock you off, it does mean that they can't get you as easily. You can kind of just completely ignore them and go straight for all of the damage, which is very helpful. We are playing with new patchers, so that puzzle there is random. Zim is going through some hints. He's not entirely sure where to go. Schwartz, meanwhile, is beelining the energy controller. After that, all we have to get is reactor core, which is not a very difficult item. And you saw that quad. Now you don't. Kind of just didn't really like being in contact with a cannonball and disappeared forever, never to be seen again. That is actually the effect of cannonball, by the way. The quad body doesn't really know what to do. It just kind of disappears. Okay, we're now in Hydro Station, or Hydro Dynamo Station. Fun fact about this room is that actually, if you look at Prime World Edit, there's sort of an area that would connect to the dark version of this room, which kind of suggests that at some point in development there was going to be a portal between them. It's kind of a little funny. The portal didn't end up in the final game, though. There's none there. This is already one of the most portal-dense regions in the game, so it wasn't really needed anyways. And that's going to be another SDK for Zim. Now Zim is going to need to very slowly and painfully go over to the Alpha Block area before we can get to Undertemple. That's because Zim doesn't appear to know much about air underwater or know how to do it, or feel comfortable doing it in the race at the very least. And we're going to have to do this essentially the vanilla method, which is lengthy. And that's our final SDK for Schwartz Gandhi. And there goes the quad. Bye, Quentin. Game helpfully reminds us that we can indeed finish the game now. Spider Ball is one of our starting items, so we don't have to worry about that. And we already have Screw Attack, so yes, we can indeed finish the game. Zim, meanwhile, is just kind of going around in Dark Torvus. The Annihilator is going to be on Under Temple access, but we don't really have a way to access that until we've raised all of the forks. And while we're here, Zim is just going to check stuff. we're going to do the spider track puzzle now. Meanwhile, Schwartz is just heading into final bosses. Now we get to Emperor Ring 1. We haven't found it. There aren't any multiplayer items with this match. We haven't RA'd any. So we are going to have a bit of a tight time if we do the super missile strat here. Oh, that was just a charge beam. That was not a super missile. So this is probably not going to be a one cycle, especially with how many times we're getting recoiled here. We got recoiled like 3 times there, which is no good. We are using a power bomb. I haven't seen that very often. That gets all of the tendrils except one. And now we're ready for 2 cycle, hopefully. Yeah, this should be a comfortable 2 cycle. Oh, it missed. We hit the body and not the center. Okay, but we do still manage a 2 cycle. That was definitely a very clumsy Emperor Ring 1. Especially because we used one of our 2 power bombs, which is no good. We really want to have all of our power bombs for this phase of the fight. It makes the tendrils so much faster. We do have cannonballs, so it could definitely be forgiven. We do have that advantage going in here, that we don't have to worry about getting hit a lot when we're using our normal bombs. I will say, one thing that Prime 2 did right that none of the other Metroid games seem to do is that they make power bomb expansions like actually useful. And like in Super Metroid, you get all these power bomb expansions. You get all 50. What do you use them for? Nothing. You may as well have 10. They don't come up in the final boss at all. So I do like that's something I like about Metroid Prime 2 a lot. You only have 8 power bombs, and they're all very helpful to have because they're a super good combat item. And in that specific phase of the fight, they have a lot of utility. We are struggling a bit with Emperor Ring 3 as well. We only managed to deal that little chunk of damage, which is not quite optimal. We get like a tiny sliver more there, it looks like. Okay, that's good progress. We should be only a little off now. 1 or 2 successful run-bys. We should be able to finish this fight up very quickly. Should have done more damage. Yeah, we're on like a little tiny sliver. Get knocked all the way across the arena. We're getting bullied right now. But it doesn't matter. The fight is complete. Zimbabwe, meanwhile, is moving into Under Temple. And now we have the final escape timer. It's time for the other final boss of the game, Dark Samus. Zim, meanwhile, has just obtained the Annihilator Beam. And doesn't seem to be sure what to make of it right now. We are supposed to be going to Under Temple. Is Zimbabwe out of power bombs? That was excellent performance. Really a blink and you'll miss it finish from Schwartz Gandhi. That was very good Dark Samus time. I'm going to mark our runners as done. Zimbabwe has chosen to forfeit, so hopefully we'll have both of them in here very soon. All right, there we go. Hello, Zimbabwe.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going really well. You did very good in that race, but boy, do we have a lot to talk about.
That was something. That was fun.
That dark beam hit, though, that was so mean. You could have gotten it so much sooner. The one in Path of Eyes. And Schwartz did, and he got dark beam way before you, and that's kind of why he won.
Makes sense.
Because he had routed it, he had done DMT first when you were save warping back to Temple Grounds. Then when that was nothing, he reset the game. And then he did the whole Hall of Honor dead loop. He went out the Morph Tunnel. He went around through Path of Eyes and did the Wind Chamber Gateway and basically did stuff in the reverse order of you.
Okay.
And he got the Path of Eyes hint on the way. That was a pretty big factor in the victory. Speaking of, congratulations, Schwartz Gandhi.
Thank you.
We have Schwartz here in the call with us. How did you feel about that seed?
Really good. That was a really good seed. I like that a lot. I'm not just saying that because I PB'd for the
nice, congrats.
rando time.
By the way, you missed Echo Visor.
Yeah.
That was in ventilation shaft A. You just ran past it like 4 times.
I completely forgot to check that.
Yeah, you just hot dogged it. You got so damn lucky.
Yeah.
If that was anything, Zim would have beat you.
Yeah, I was like the whole time. By the time I got hints, I was like, "Oh, I could just get this whole like right away."
Yeah,
and
you were immediately in go mode. Zim wasn't quite so confident with the lower Torva stuff. Ended up searching around a lot. I assume you were looking for gravity boost, Zim.
Yeah, well, it was that, and I'm also just not super confident with lower Torvis. Just the way that the seeds have worked out, I've not really had to do much there yet. So I'm still like not really confident there. I'm kind of lost when I'm wandering.
Yeah, you actually got some not terrible hints. You got Under Temple, which you can get to without gravity boost, because obviously getting to the lower area that requires not as much.
Okay, that makes sense.
And also there was hi dog. Sorry, ignore that. That was my dog. And then there's also Hydro Dynamo Station, which is just the very first room.
Yeah. I was definitely not comfortable with the lower Torvis dip, especially without grab boost, because if you don't know, if you like open up the pathway 2 blog without grab boost, that is like, and if you don't have like Darkhold access, that is like very much a soft lock. And I don't do that very often. I usually try to hold off opening up that thing until I have grab boost. But thinking about it, I was able to route through Under Temple and then get back to the safe station in the Dark World and then just reset from there. So it went fine. That was pretty much the most nerve-wracking thing, except seeing Central Mining Station and the hits.
Oh, it was in main energy controller. Tumos was vanilla.
Vanilla light suit.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So when I got hints, I like seeing Central Mining Station. I had just save warped out of labs, and I was like, "Oh, I might get punished for that." But thankfully, with how I routed in, I was able to route it back in on my way to Spider Side. So yeah, that worked in my favor pretty well.
Did anyone catch any other interesting item locations?
Did you get main PBs at all, Zim?
No, I was limping by on 2 PBs forever.
Same. I saw it in the credits. It was Inkesh 4.
Oh, great.
Oh, jeez.
That makes sense. But yeah, no one ever goes back for that.
Any other interesting majors?
I did not see it. That was all I saw.
You could have slowed down at least on the items.
Dang. Nah, sorry. I mean, honestly, the main PBs were the most important thing because, man, I was out of logic for those for like, quite a while. I'm really glad that those PB expansions were there.
Yeah, I'm
I only
literally
ended
like
up getting a few.
I'm like currently on my way to get the Under Temple key, and I'm having to do like dip back into the light world to kill like the underwater fish, to farm for PBs, to go back to open a PB door, and it's so
Yeah,
obnoxious.
I did that exact same thing. That was really funny. But yeah, shout outs to I don't remember what hit it was. I think it was Path of Eyes that
Yeah, it
hinted
was
the
Path
Dark
of
Beam.
Eyes, the Dark Beam, man. That was the
Yeah.
one that Zim missed. I was talking about it
Yep.
before you came on. He didn't get that hint until after the Dark Beam because he routed Temple Grounds basically backwards of you. You
Uh,
did DMT, then reset and went the sort of Hall of Honor Dead and went through the tunnel. He did the opposite. He did Hall of Honor Dead first, and then he went back to do DMT and routed it basically backwards from you.
oh,
So he
okay.
ended up not doing Path of Eyes because he didn't want to jump over Wind Chamber. He didn't want to take that detour just for a hint.
Yeah.
That ended up really costing him.
Yeah, I definitely should have picked that hint up. I think I got my Dark Beam at like 50 minutes in or something, like 50, 55 minutes. Like,
Ooh,
it was really late.
yeah. And
Hold
also,
on,
yeah, that was just
can
a
we
rough
finish this
start.
up a little soon? My dog really wants to go outside.
Oh, yeah,
Alright.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, really good seed. Or I guess besides that Dark Beam, I felt like this was really good. This was really fast. Apparently, this is now the record for all of the other races in the tournament so far, which is pretty cool.
Congrats.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
And yeah, thanks for being here, Pierre, commentating at the 11th hour. Really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, no problem, no problem.
And then GG's soon.
Yeah, GG's.
I am sorry about the technical issues we had at the start. Hopefully, we get those sorted out before you guys race again.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll see you guys next mission.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Later, folks.